The knock on the door woke me up. I was sweating profusely beneath the duvet. I noticed I had fallen asleep while crying. I stared into nothing, reminiscing on the dream I just had. I threw the duvet off my sweaty body and sat up, my thoughts choking its way through the blur memories. It was refreshing, and then it came. I stood with a knife in that dream and planted it deep into Caleb's stomach, blood gushing through his mouth. The lady he just proposed to looked at me with disgust, but stood still. She didn't seem anything like Sarah, but Sarah's sandal laid at the entrance of Bro Caleb's residence. I wondered what could be the meaning of the dream, but my thoughts were interrupted again by another round of knock on the door. I stared at the door for some seconds, as if the answer to my question was boldly inscribed on it. I hoped it would be Sarah. I felt I should share the dream with her. Maybe she could have an interpretation. On a second thought, I felt Sarah might dwell on that dream and torment me into defining my relationship with Bro Caleb. But maybe I should define the relationship, since Bro Caleb's actions seemed airy lately. The knock on the door this time seemed a bit fiercer, dwindling my thoughts. I walked to the door, twisted the doorknob and pulled, only to see Bro Caleb's handsome face smiling at me. He clenched a guitar just beneath his arm, and before I could say a word, he was already playing. He composed a song for me. He played for some minutes, and when he ended, few of his friends and other fellowship brethren appeared from behind, clapping and grinning wildly. Sister Ronke, the evangelism coordinator, held a beautiful cake. "Happy birthday, Omomi," inscribed on it beautifully. I grinned and laughed out heartily. I seemed to have forgotten the dream and my just insipid moment. I had Bro Caleb back. That was the testimony. The celebration was truly more than what I envisaged. Bro Caleb made it so. Sarah's arrival didn't add much. Her smiles were possibly all she had to offer. I pierced deeply into her smiles, and I found beneath it dry smiles, which seemed obvious when Bro Caleb sat next to me during the celebration. The celebration soon ended, and I was thankful to all present, and much more to Bro Caleb. Sarah offered me the present she got for me, a beautiful dress. I was still admiring it when my phone beeped. Since Sarah was close to it, I told her to check who the sender was and help me read out the message. "It's from Bro Caleb," she said, her hearty smiles dwindling into nothing. I wished I had not asked her to read out the message, but she was already reading it out. "There's no beauty in the sky without the stars. There's no beauty in the stars without the light. There's no beauty in the light without the world, and there's no beauty in the world without you. Remember, you were created to be a light to your world, to shine forth God's glory. I'll keep praying for you, my dear, until it is sealed and settled. You are loved, Omomi. See you in church tomorrow." Sarah read the message with a shaky voice, and when she ended, she just placed my cell device on a plastic table beside her and lay on the bed gently. I was so glad that Bro Caleb had begun to crawl out of his shell. This was the height of it. I picked up the phone to see for myself. I read a line over and over until it is sealed and settled. But why did Sarah become all cold after reading out the message? The last she would do was to be jealous. But what about the dream? It affirmed she wanted Bro Caleb also. I waved my swinging thoughts and slept off, still pondering on the line until it is sealed and settled. My sleep was suddenly interrupted by Sarah's prayer. I woke up in a jolt and found her praying, her large Bible before her and a silk scarf over her hair. She prayed as if her heart was truly heavy, and she was muttering words between her tears. Beside her Bible was my phone. I was taken aback at the instant I discovered Sarah had been reading the text conversation between Bro Caleb and myself. "What a pry," I muttered in disgust. Was she crying so hard because of the text conversation? Was she envious of Bro Caleb and I? Was that the reason she wants me to set boundaries after defining the relationship? I was thrown in total confusion and fell asleep again. Kemi, please wake up, we need to talk. Sarah's voice came after tapping me gently. For a moment, I thought I was at home, because only my mother wakes me up at early hours of the day for a talk. It was only past 3 a.m. I sat up and gestured to her to go on. It's about Bro Caleb, she began, looking away. What about him? I was really ready to fight for what's mine, since Sarah had begun to act in an odd manner. Do you like him? Her inquisitive eyes perused my entire figure, seeking for a sincere answer. Well, yes I do. Just as your brother in the church, I replied. Only as a brother in the church? She persisted again. Yes, just a brother and father in the Lord, I replied swiftly. She sighed heavily and continued. You know, I've been seeking the face of God for will for me in marriage, Sarah said. Oh yes, you told me. I stared at her, wondering what could be next. Well, I've received answers, Sarah added. A light smile appeared on her face. That's nice, Sister Sarah. I'm so happy for you. So, who is the lucky brother? I asked, eyeing her maliciously and hoping she doesn't mention Bro Caleb. You'll know very soon, dear. He'll soon be coming to propose. God assured me that, she said smiling. I remembered the dream. What if Bro Caleb comes to propose to her? I sure won't be able to survive the trauma. Of all ladies, it shouldn't be Sarah. Maybe another. Even if I can't use the knife in reality, there are other possible means I could use to end it all. So, have you started seeking the face of God in partnership? You know you are 23 already. Sarah asked again. Yes, I have, I lied. What else is there to pray for? God has seen my parents' rough marriage and decided to favor me with Bro Caleb. All I should be doing now is appreciate him and not bugging him with unnecessary prayer. So, have you received answers? She pressured again. No, not yet. But God only kept telling me that the person is very close by. I'm still praying. I lied again. I never prayed over the issue, let alone God speaking to me. I just assumed Bro Caleb is the right one, and I wondered how much more I'll keep lying over the issue. So don't you think your closeness with Bro Caleb will chase the right person when he comes, thinking you're already in a relationship? Sarah said. No, I don't think so, I added. Just be careful there, so that you don't have a reason to regret your actions at the long run. I wouldn't want you to get hurt, she said, fondling with my fingers. Alright, I will, thank you. Of course, I will do no such thing. I withdrew my finger, turned to the wall, and forced myself to sleep. That night, I dreamt of my parents' rough marriage, how my father slaps my mother on the face and beats up my siblings and I woke up the next morning promising myself to marry well and marry right. But Caleb seemed to offer the hope of a beautiful marriage. What is next? I sure would get married to Bro Caleb. But truly, what is next?